Cuties, there is a gun in our creators that is criminally slept on, and that is the Burleta. In this video, I want to go over why I think it's so powerful, why I think it's like probably the second or third best gun in the game right now, what makes it better than just using the Kettle, and how to actually get it, because this is a guaranteed blueprint. It is a very cheap gun to run, and it is a very powerful and effective gun to run. But before we jump into it, if you enjoy my content, be sure to sub the channel, like the videos if you like them, and check me out on Twitch, because if you're hearing this bald man right now, I am already live. Click the link in the description box down below. Let's jump into this bad boy. So the comparison I really want to focus on for this video is going to be using a Burleta over a Kettle. The reason for that is that I think it's pretty objective that the Kettle is the strongest gun in the game, because especially if you're macroing it, the Kettle just does insane damage. Now, if you're comparing the fire rate, the Kettle still has the faster fire rate. However, this is a fire rate you can only achieve if you're like essentially Shroud, or you're using a macro. So as long as you're not macroing, they shoot at about the same rate. And for some reason, I don't know why, I feel like I'm able to shoot my Burleta a lot faster. There's no real logic behind that. I'm just keeping it a buck. For some reason, the Burleta for me just feels better. But that is not an objective fact. That is just a personal preference. Where I do think the Burleta just performs better is that, first of all, the Burleta requires one less bullet to kill a target. Again, with a gun at this high of a fire rate, it doesn't matter that much, but the Burleta does do slightly more damage. Where the Burleta really shines over the Kettle is going to be its zeroing in. And this is why I feel like this is just the better gun to use. When you're fighting a target at mid-range, a lot of times, especially if you're trying to aim for the head, you are not able to like max spam as easily with the Kettle and like stay on target. Now, obviously, there's like not moving targets, but as you start mag dumping, especially because you're having to deal with like bullet damage drop off, the fact that your bloom gets so big so quickly on the Kettle makes it kind of hard to contest people with a Kettle. I'm sure you guys have had this happen, where maybe you're shooting someone at mid range, they start to back up a little bit, or maybe you're strafing, whatever it is, and you feel like you're supposed to be beaming them, but then you die or whatever, and you look at the damage done and it's not what it's supposed to be. That doesn't happen as often with the Burleta. Obviously, it's light ammo, so you're gonna have crazy damage fall off regardless, but the Burleta just stays on target way more. There is way less dispersion on this gun. Another important thing is, let's say you're trying to breach a room, right? So you're going to come in and you're going to try and slide in and do some damage. Now, obviously, if the target is this close, they're going to perform about the same, right? The Burleta, again, does kill one bullet faster, so, you know, in those really tight situations, it ends up still being better. But let's say the target is a bit further away. This is the same situation where, because the Burleta is able to stay zeroed in a lot easier, you're able to go for headshots and you win a lot more trades that you don't really feel like you should be winning. With the Kettle, what ends up happening a lot of times is sometimes you think you're beaming them, but you end up like kind of shooting like around their head, because when you're moving, the bloom is just massive on this gun. Now, another really important thing about the Burleta is that if you're playing solo, this still applies to group like trios and duos. But when you're running solo, a lot of times you're running around with your gun not out. The fact that you can like pull out your gun immediately and start shooting is also very important. The only guns you can really do this with are like the Burleta and the Venerator, right? And even the Venerator could be kind of slow sometimes. If you're getting caught with your pants down and you're trying to pull out a Kettle, bro, this is a long, you're dead. Like, you lost that, you know what I mean? That's just instant death. And so because of that, I just started running the Burleta permanently, and I feel like it just is way more consistent. It's a much more consistent Kettle. Now, again, like I mentioned at the beginning, if you're using a macro for your Kettle, which I assume is going to get nerfed by the time this video drops, because there's the patch coming out tomorrow, you are not going to be able to, you know, the Kettle will always just be king because of that. But for any regular player, this thing just performs so goddamn well. The last comparison I'd like to draw is the reload speed. Now, both of these guns go up in reload speed whenever you level them up, and the bullet velocity in the Kettle should not be kind of like missed. It still is very strong, but the Burleta has a naturally very high bullet velocity. I think that's really important in this game is a lot of trades end up requiring reloads. A lot of fights require reloads. And what's nice about the Burleta is that because the reload is so fast, you can push into people while you're reloading, because the reality is, if you're like peeking corner around somebody and they start beaming you, a lot of times, dude, you just tuck back into the corner. They're beaming into the corner, hoping that you're going to re-peek. They have to reload. The guns in this game all reload insanely slowly, besides probably the Venerator. And so it gives you the opportunity where even if you're in a position where you want to reload, you can push into them and then you're ready to shoot and actually kill them. The fast reload speed, again, is something that makes you play hyper aggressively. This is a gun that is really good if you're somebody who likes to entry frag, if you like to push really hard and you just want to absolutely melt people. Shooting somebody in the head with this gun is just an insane amount of damage that comes out very quickly. You're gonna get a lot of people asking like how the hell did they lose that fight, or how did they lose the interaction. It's because the Burleta is like heavily slept on. So for mods, I like to keep it pretty simple. I would say for this, I would not run below a green mag. That is like really, really important for this gun, just because you don't have a ton of ammo in this, and this is a spammy gun. If you're somebody who wants to absolutely beam people from like mid-range and especially in close range, you want to make sure you have the ammo to kind of like, I guess, apply that pressure where if they try to duck in and out or whatever it is. And this is another benefit of the gun. You could like kind of just beam into someone, and if they just duck your bullets and then come back out, you're ready to go, because this gun reloads super, super fast. So I'd highly recommend at least a green extended mag when running this, which again is not very expensive. And then I always run a compensator 3 just because I have a ton of mod components, but if you're running even a compensator 2, this is very, very good. Again, this is a bit more of an expensive gun, but it's kind of the same thing with the Kettle. These are both very, very cheap guns. And again, because this is a gun that is, or it's a pistol, like for some reason they do like a size comparison for a lot of guns in this game. Because this is a small gun, the cost of upgrading it is like very little. Obviously, it's more expensive than a Kettle because a Kettle is literally a starter gun. It's just like ridiculously powerful, but it's not that much more expensive, especially when you take into account the fact that you don't really have to make a stock, you don't really have to make a grip. So you only have to really worry about a compensator and an extended mag. But again, if you go to blues, it's super, super useful, but it's not a very expensive gun to run. So how do you get the gun? This is a guaranteed blueprint. This blueprint comes from a quest, Industrial Espionage. This is a very, very easy quest. It's not super deep into the quest, but you are going to be doing a couple. I'm going to leave a link to the wiki in the description box down below, because this is going to be your tool to figure out how, like, which quests you have to do, because you don't really have to do all of them. The main idea is you are going to be doing Tien Win's quest line. There are some other vendor quest lines you have to do as well, not that many, but mainly if you're going to be following any quest that goes into Buried City. So let's say you're like, well, Cody, I don't know what quest I'm on. You just do previous. You go through this and do previous, 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 and there are times where like a quest is going to branch off, right? A perfect example here will be like, let's say here, greasing her palms and trifecta. That means in order to move to the next one, you need to complete both of these quests. Now, if you're like, I'm not sure which one you want to take, here you would take what we left behind, but let's see, click mixed signals. Well, there it is. Mixed signals actually stops. There's no quest after it. So you go back to the old one, and now you know, okay, so we do what we left behind, and you just keep going through it over and over. Here, same thing. Marked for death or straight to the record. Well, what does straight to the record give me? Keep going through the quest line, echoes of victory. You are not getting the quest line, right? So now you go back all the way to where you started, and you just continue the quest line from wherever you left off. It's very, very simple to follow, and a lot of the quests are very, very, very easy to do. So it probably will take you like a day to run through the entire quest line just to get this blueprint. And that's it for today, boys. I hope you enjoy your Burletas. Let me know in the comment section down below. Is it a gun you're already using? Is it a gun you wanted to try out? What is your experience if you decide to switch into it? I do think this is a gun that's going to be on the come up, especially the fact that tomorrow, or as of the making of this video, tomorrow the balance patch is going to be hitting us. And if I had to guess, the Kettle is probably going to get nerfed or at least reworked to stop people abusing like, click macros or whatever. And the Burleta already, in my opinion, outperforms it, which means that this is probably going to be one of the best guns in the game, apart from running like a Venerator or a Renegade. Like, this is up there with some of the best guns the game actually has to offer. If you guys have any ideas for future videos or things you'd like for me to cover, be sure to leave them in the comment section or let me know in my Twitch chat. I'll catch you guys next one. Have a wonderful day.